accident prone I am, because this is just my luck, actually. I'm not sure when it began, although the first real incident I remember was when I was 3 and burned my hand trying to get a marshmallow off a stick. That was probably where it started. When I was about 10, I was staying the night at a family friend's house, and I got up in the middle of the night, and I was sleeping on the couch, and there was a coffee table, and when I got up, I tripped on one of the coffee table legs, and I caught myself. I was like, oh, okay, you know, there's another leg coming up, gotta be careful. But I misjudged the distance where the other coffee table leg was, so I took one step, I fell flat on my face and bit through my lip. I do have a scar. It's right around here somewhere. Things were pretty quiet until about the 6th grade. It was
sorry, dramatic story.
Super Bowl Sunday, so I was getting up, getting ready for church in the morning, and I was putting on a pair of shorts, and I had a tile floor in my bedroom, and I stepped on a CD player that had been lying there, and it slipped and went out from under me, and I fell backwards, and I landed on my arm. It hurt really bad. My family came in, and I was really embarrassed because I wasn't wearing pants. And so my dad was like, oh, you probably just sprained it, you'll be okay. So he wrapped it up in an ace bandage, and 3 days later I was like, Dad, my wrist still really hurts. And he's like, okay. So Wednesday we went to the hospital. Hey, it's broken. Awesome, thanks. So for 3 days I was just walking around, you know, using my wrist like I wasn't supposed to. That summer camp, because I'm involved with the Boy Scouts, was not a fun camp. I caught a mild case of hypothermia because it rained 3 days straight. I almost fell off a mountain. I got bit by a snake. There's photo evidence. Yeah, I was in some kind of reptile class, and someone in camp was like, hey, we found this snake, you should take it down to the nature lodge. So I'm holding a snake in my hand, I'm like, okay. Well, half of my thumb was covering its face, and I felt bad for it. So I like loosened my grip to like get a better grip on it for him, and it whipped around and bit me and was dangling off my finger. So that was an interesting experience. I also was lying in my sleeping bag. Yeah, it definitely did. It wasn't venomous, so no hospital trip. I was lying in my sleeping bag on a cot, and there's a wood platform that the tent sits on, and the 2 legs kind of got jimmied over a bit, and the way they tied the tent to the poles on the platform didn't leave much leeway, so you couldn't like fall onto the ground, but the cot legs slipped off of the wood platform, and I got pinned between the cot being stuck on the wood panel and me on like the tent flap. So I'm just like chilling there at like 12 years old, and I'm like, guys, help. But someone was like, oh, hang on, let me get a camera. So they decided to do that to me, and that wasn't fun either. Next summer camp. Never been on a skateboard before. I should probably put this. We were in the Appalachian Mountains in northern Georgia, and there's a lot of hills there because, you know, with the Appalachians. And they had mountain boards, which you take a skateboard, you give it a small suspension on the bottom, make the tires about this big, and you just go down the hill. Well, I was at the top of the hill. I was like, you know, I really don't want to go on this, but my friends were like, I don't care. So I was like, okay. So I got on, and I was about halfway down, and there's like a dip, like a hole in the hill, and I flew off, and I landed hard, and I rolled down the rest of the hill, you know, like in a cartoon, and I was really hurt. I sprained my wrist, and I thought I did something to my elbow. That was not a fun time. It was really cold, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Going on?
My junior year of high school,
Oh, dang.
I did ROTC in high school for 4 years, and one day I was working out with them after school, and I decided not to eat much that day. It was not a wise decision when you worked out, and I kind of passed out. I couldn't control, what was going on with my head, because like I couldn't support it. I was just kind of like flopping around. So I went to the ER, and they did a bunch of tests to make sure I was okay. In order to test for meningitis, they have to do a spinal tap, and they had a resident doctor do it. So not a full 100% doctor, someone who's doctor in training decided to stick a needle in my back and miss 3 times. Created a spinal fluid leak. So every time I sat up, there was negative pressure in my spinal area and caused my brain to literally sink in my skull.
Oh, God.
Not pleasant. Before it finally got fixed, it was like I was couch ridden for a week, I think. I lost 12 pounds because I didn't eat anything because I couldn't sit up and eat. Yeah, they decided to take blood from my hand and inject it into the spot in my back to like plug the hole. The second time it worked, which was definitely a boon for me. Yeah, not so much an accident prone, so I guess it's technically an accident, but it wasn't like physically to me. I was driving home from class one day, back where I live, and I like driving with the windows down because it was like 9:30, it was after a math class, and the campus was 30 minutes away, and I'm in a not so, it wasn't like rural, but there wasn't much around the area, and my tire exploded with the windows down, and I almost had a heart attack, and there's, just trying to get back home after class. Lo and behold, kaboom. And there's a hole in my tire about that big, which I did not like. I had to call the roadside assistance to come and help me out. But while I was waiting for roadside assistance, the sheriff decided to show up, and he turned his lights on, so I thought I was in trouble. But he was just making sure I was okay, and then he just left. I'm not sure if that's what you're supposed to do, but I just kind of went with it. And that was, I haven't had many major stuff since then. It's been pretty quiet. Just like kind of like bad luck stuff has happened to me. And that's pretty much how I'm accident prone.
All right.